Hey guys, I'm Jonathan Mead, and welcome to the Found My Flexibility Challenge, day one. I'm excited to have you in this journey, and we're going to jump right into it. Today is all about the hips, and more importantly, incorporating movements into your daily life that are going to help your hips, because it's about not just what you do, when you're stretching, or when you're, doing a workout, but it's what you do in those other 23 and a half hours of the day. So the first movement we're going to do is coming down onto the ground. You are going to get into a seated position with, if you can, a 90-degree angle on your back leg and then a 90-degree angle on your front leg. So this thigh to the shin, 90 degrees and 90 degrees in the front. If this is too uncomfortable for you, you can bend your knees a little bit. You can also put this arm down on the ground beside you as like kind of a kickstand. So you can put this arm down. Then what you're going to want to do is turn your hips forward. So if you imagine on your hip bones, you had two headlights. You want these headlights to be facing forward. Put your hands down for a little bit of support. And what we're going to first do is, as always, right, we're breathing, we're checking in with the body. So before you try to change your body, make sure you're inhabiting it. Make sure you're actually in your body, connecting with your body. So we're just going to take some deep breaths into the belly. I want you to think about expelling all your air, so letting your ribs drop. And then from here, keeping your ribs in that spot, breathing into your belly. So we're going to hang out in this position. I like to think about around 2 minutes, because 2 minutes is where we get the most benefit from, and we get like an actual long-term result. So if you just kind of stretch here and you do this thing and then you come out of it, you're not going to get that much long-term benefit. So you want to think about spending at least 2 minutes in the position. And think about actively exploring the position. So really feel into, what is this back hip doing? How does it feel? Can I press my knee and my ankle into the ground a little bit to make it a little bit more active? And can I explore too that turning of those hip bones forward? So I can also explore having this sit bone, right? My right sit bone pressing and dropping a little bit more into the ground, and it'll be helpful if you kind of bring your weight back a little bit. And then all these stretches we're doing, we're trying to stay nice and tall up here rather than collapsing down. So we're training the body to be nice and tall and upright. And I'm staying active. I'm exploring my range of motion, right? Good. Now we're going to focus on the front hip by leaning forward. You can use your hands for support. If you want to go a little more advanced, if you're a little further along, you can take your hands away. You can clasp them in front of you. And that's going to intensify the stretch, intensify the demand a little bit. So explore, right? Leaning forward, and when I lean, I'm reaching forward with my belly button. I'm not rounding forward this way, right? It's not what we want. So I reach forward with my belly button, breathing into the stretch, exploring, turning, pressing this heel and this knee into the ground. I can also explore trying to lift this off the ground. But really, I'm just hanging out here. I'm taking my time, right? I'm accumulating time in the position. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to open this back leg while trying to keep this knee down for as long as possible until it has to lift, staying nice and tall here, and then I bring this knee down to the ground, and now I'm in the 90-90 position on the opposite side. So again, turning these hip bones forward, my headlights forward, over that front thigh. Remember to breathe in. Maybe you forgot about breathing, so make sure to check in with that breath. Breathe into your diaphragm, aka your lower belly, and into your sides, right? Hang out here. Explore pressing this leg into the ground. Maybe explore even trying to lift it up off the ground. Still staying nice and tall. And then explore the front side, reaching forward with the belly button. Exploring your range of motion. The more you're an active participant in whatever it is you're doing, the more value you're going to get out of it. All right, so now I open this forward, and I can repeat this process a few times, just opening, closing one side and the other. If I need to, and I can't stay nice and tall here, I'm going to use my hands behind me to press my chest up and get a little bit taller in the position. You can also use something like a block. I have this piece of wood here. You could use a yoga block, a cushion, something like that to elevate your butt too if you're having a little bit trouble staying tall. We're just going to do this about 5 or 6 times. Nice. Now from here, I'm going to reach my legs out to the side, get in a straddle position. And now I'm trying to reach forward. Again, reaching from my belly button, breathing into my lower belly. I'm in a new position now, so I'm checking in with myself, feeling what it's like to be here. If I'm struggling to stay tall, I want to press my hands into the ground behind me and get a little bit taller. And this might be where you are, right? You might just be right here, and that's great. That's awesome. However, if your lower back is rounding, place a block underneath you, or you might need a couple blocks, or a couple cushions. Couch cushions can work just fine. And then you can get a little bit taller. Okay, so really listen to your body, honor where you are. And we're just gonna explore this position. I always like to think of stretching in a rainbow, right? So I stretch and I reach. Always in a rainbow. And that's really what stretching is. It's just reaching, okay? So another thing that can be helpful is if you had maybe some objects around you, you could reach and try to grab those objects and pick them up. This is another way to make stretching a little bit more dynamic and a little bit more interesting. I know a lot of you guys struggle with boredom when you're stretching, which is totally understandable. Like, it's just an arbitrary thing, but the more we can make it active and dynamic, the more we can make it something like that's engaging, that you actually want to do. Okay? So again, shooting for about 2 minutes. Then we are going to bring legs out in front of us, bend the knees, and I'm going to start exploring, straightening one leg, straightening the other. It's kind of like walking out the dog in downward dog, but we're just in a little bit different position, not as much demand placed on the legs. So it might be a little bit easier. It's a good one if you struggle with tight hamstrings. From here, reaching forward with the belly button and explore, right? Explore reaching to one side, reaching to the other side. Explore pointing your feet, right? Pulling them back toward you. Explore lifting your head up a little bit. Don't forget to breathe. So these are just a few positions, right? I could also try hanging out in a squat here with the block. That can be really nice to do as well. But for this first challenge, I mostly wanted to give you some principles to work with. So breathing, inhabiting the body, stretching in a rainbow, hanging out for at least 2 minutes, and being active, right? So being curious. Explore your range of motion, explore your body. The more you inhabit your body and explore it, the less mysterious it's going to be. And that's part of where aches and pains come from, is just a lack of connection to our body, and there's not a good map of that area, so your body responds with a signal of guarding, like with pain. Let me know if you have any questions about this. Post them in the comments down below. Don't forget to use the hashtag, right? Found my flexibility. If you want to win one of the prizes, there's going to be a course that I'm opening up soon that's going to go way deeper into this stuff. So if you're wanting to take this further and you're wanting to get really serious, like this is the year, this is my time that I want to make a big change in my body and get more freedom in my body, that course is going to be really, really awesome for you. It's going to contain a lot more in-depth stuff. But yeah, in the meantime, feel free to let me know any questions, comments, and I'll see you in day 2.